Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I have for today, guys, is part 2 of my video I did a couple days ago, where in my opinion, the band's second album was their best in the discography. If you haven't watched my first part of the series, please check it out. So this will be part 2. I got 10 more bands here where I think the second album was their best in their discography. Let's jump right in, guys, just so the video's not too long. Another band I came up with here when compiling the master list was Dark Angel. Kind of a no-brainer, I think, in my opinion. Darkness Descends, their second album, is easily their best in my opinion. Gene Hoglan fucking rips on this album on the drums. Guitar work is crazy. The vocals are lightning fast and aggressive. And this album just doesn't let up. It's just killer top to bottom. And yeah, easy choice for this topic. The second one here is kind of controversial. I went with Motorhead, and my favorite Motorhead album has always been Overkill. Technically, they wrote and recorded on Parole before, like earlier, but it didn't get officially released until after. So I'm not counting on Parole as like their first album. I'm starting with just with their subtitled as their first, and then Overkill as a second, and then on Parole got released technically after that. So Overkill for me is the best Motorhead album, one of my favorite bands of all time. Definitely a top 20 album of all time for me as well, with tracks like the title track, Stay Clean, No Class, Damage Case, Metropolis. So many iconic Motorhead songs that they played right up till the end. And thank God I got to see Motorhead a few times before Lemmy passed away. Just a killer band. Even when he was in his 60s, he was up there fucking rocking out harder than guys in their 20s. Such a legend. Rest in peace, Lemmy. But yeah, Overkill, easily their best. The next band here I got was the old psychedelic rock band Cream. Of course, the supergroup with Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and Jack Bruce. Always loved Cream. Had a really cool kind of proto-metal sound, very heavy, very distorted guitars, heavy on the drums. In my opinion, their second album, Disraeli Gears, is their best album, in my opinion. The track listing, of course, Sunshine of Your Love is a big song and probably my favorite. Strange Brew is really good too. We're Going Wrong is good. Outside Women Blues. Tales of Brave Ulysses. So many good songs on this album. Really, really killer stuff. The fourth band I got here is In Flames, second album, The Jester Race. Love their early, brutal, kind of more death metal sound. I love all of In Flames material. A lot of people give them shit. Kind of around like the Come Clarity, Son of a Playground Fading, Sense of Purpose, that kind of era. A lot of people don't like those albums at all. I think they're great still. Love their early stuff though. The Jester Race is always an iconic album, and one I go back to a lot. It's really, really aggressive and super, definitely more aggressive than their newer stuff. Stripped away all the pop and more straight death metal. Really good album. The fifth band I got here is Amorphous, and their second album, Tales from the Thousand Lakes. Another band where their early material is a little bit on the heavier side. Always loved this album. Always been my favorite from the band. With tracks like Thousand Lakes, Into Hiding, Black Winter Days, really good. In the Beginning. Just some really, really good tunes on this one. Love Amorphous. All their albums are really killer. Definitely a band I need to pick up more of their material on hard copy. I think I've only got like 3 or 4 of their albums on CD. I think I've got the last like 4, all their more recent stuff. Even the one I like the best, I haven't got a copy of it yet. It's just hard to find for a good price, but I'll get it eventually. The next one I got here is a band I'm not overly into, but I dig their early material. I've heard all their stuff. I kind of check it out as they come out, but it's Fear Factory and their second album, Demanufacture. Always been their best album in my opinion. Perfect blend of brutal death metal vocals and clean vocals. One of their early pioneers to have that kind of tandem vocals that way. But the cool industrial sound. When you listen to these guys, you sound like they're on this set of like Terminator 2. It just has that really cool industrial kind of war sound. But yeah, Demanufacture has always been my favorite in my opinion. Archetype is really good, and Obsolete is good too, but Demanufacture has always been their best in my opinion. Next we got here is Creator, great German thrashers, and this is kind of a no-brainer. Pleasure to Kill is probably their most popular album, and it's always been my favorite. Endless Pain is really good, but Pleasure to Kill is when they went more kind of a straight-up, more thrash album. Endless Pain had a little more of aggression and more death metal edge to it, or black kind of proto-black metal as well. Extreme Aggression is a really cool album from them too. Even their newest stuff like Phantom Antichrist, Hate Borealis, etc. is really good stuff, but Pleasure to Kill is their all-time classic. Always been their best in their discography. Next we got Tigers of Pantang, really good new wave of British heavy metal band out of UK. I went with their second album, of course, Spellbound. First one to have John Sykes on guitar, which I think added a big difference. And with songs like Gangland, Take It, Hellbound, Mirror, just some really, really good tunes on this one. Their first album, Wildcat, was really good too. Crazy Nights is good too, the one after it. But Spellbound's always been my favorite Tigers album. And just iconic, great guitar work. Really memorable songs, really good stuff. And next we got King Diamond, his solo career. I went with Abigail, the second album. Fatal Portrait is up there, but Abigail's always been my favorite. Really good concept album. Tells a story amazing, really cool vocals, high falsettos. I'm more of a Merciful Fate guy over King Diamond. I find in King Diamond he goes a little too high on the falsettos like all the time. It can be kind of a little fatigue on the ears. I prefer Merciful Fate overall because he didn't go quite as crazy on the falsettos. I almost included Don't Break the Oath from Merciful Fate, but Melissa's so good, the debut, I couldn't decide which was better. So I just left it off both of my list and went with his debut, his solo albums instead, because I always loved Abigail the most. And the last one we got here, guys, is another top 10 album of all time for me. It's the classic old school doom metal band Candlemass. Their second album, Nightfall, pure masterpiece, definitely a top 10 album of all time for me. Their debut, Epicus Doomicus Metallicus, is an all-time classic doom metal album as well. But for me, Nightfall's where it's at. It's always been my favorite album from them. And it's just so iconic with tracks like The Well of Souls, At the Gallows End, Bewitched, like just so many great songs on this album. If you haven't heard Nightfall, definitely check it out. You'll love it. So thanks guys, that's part 2 complete. Maybe I'll try doing a part 3 if I can come up with some more. But let me know down below what your picks would be for their second albums. And thanks for watching, guys. Keep it metal.